Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and the message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I have come here on your platform so that I can confess the things that I am doing. My story goes on like this. I used to work at a car dealership, and from working at that car dealership, I then started working as an agent where I was clearing the cars that passed through Musina going to Zim. That was when I came into contact with another man who was a traditional healer. This man, he had came to buy, those ex-Japanese cars that they sell in Musina, but it was a very expensive one. So this man, he had already told me that he is a traditional healer. I then asked him, how was it even possible for him to get so much money? Because we know that most of the traditional healers, they are not wealthy. But this man then said that the gods and his ancestors just gives him money. Anything that he wants, he speaks with his ancestors as well as the gods, then they give him the money. He laughed at me as he was saying that he can actually go to any river, and if in that river there are water spirits, mermaids, then they can just give him a basket full of money. As we were talking, he then asked me how much I was getting as I'll be clearing these vehicles that will be coming out of South Africa, coming to Zim. I then said that on a good day, maybe I can make about $200. But now, because of the competition, there are a lot of people that are doing this. There is no more money to be made when you are clearing these cars. Then this man then said that, well, with this money that you are making, how about you use that money so that you can come to my consultation room, and when you come to my consultation room, I will give you a seed of wealth, and you will go and plant that seed of wealth by the river. Then that seed, as it will be germinating into a plant, it will give you a lot of money. Do you want that? My brother, I then took his numbers and I promised him that indeed I was going to travel all the way from Musina going to Harare. Then there was this other time when I had made a lot of money, so I was staying with my wife when she was still alive in Musina at that time. I lied to my wife. I told my wife that I had gotten this other piece job, because usually these people that come to buy these cars from museum in Messina, most of them, they do not have like your driver's license, so they will hire someone to drive the car from Messina to Harare. Then they will pay you. I lied to my wife that I had gotten this piece job. There is a car that I was supposed to drive from Musina going to Harare. Then when I crossed the border, when I was in Beitbridge, I then hitchhiked and I traveled all the way to Harare. When I was in Harare, I spoke with that same healer. I told him that the bus has dropped me at such and such a place. Can you please come and pick me up? He then sent his boys with a very beautiful car. They came and they picked me up. When we arrived at that traditional healer's house, I could not even believe everything that I was seeing. This house, Brother Nashi, it is very beautiful. It is fit for a president. A beautiful house with a lot of empty rooms. This house, Brother Nashi, it is completely off the grid. It has solar panels, generators, everything, balls, everything is just there. Brother Nashi, I stayed there. So this traditional healer, he has this other cottage that he built. So at that cottage, if you are one of his clients, you stay there. The cottage, it is more like just a big room. So we were all sleeping in that big room. The food, we were being given good food as if we were staying at a hotel. He has a lot of workers that are working for him. So whilst I was sitting with some of the clients, they actually told me that they were there to pay some amounts of money that were up to $3,000 so that they can be given this seed of wealth to make more money. When my turn came, he told me that he had been watching me. He said that from the time that you decided to come here to my consultation room, I have been seeing you on this mirror of mine. He calls it his personal TV. He even rewinded everything, Brother Nashi, and I saw myself as I was busy hustling in Musina. He said, this is for another day, but now that you are here, we have to prepare everything. He said that because you are quite unlucky, you cannot spend a lot of time with me. I said, what is wrong? He said that I have this other customer of mine who is in South Africa. That South African couple, they are involved in this other tender. So that tender was under investigation. So they needed his charms. So they had already booked a ticket for him so that he can quickly fly to South Africa and he can sort out the mess that was going on with the investigation. Then said that since I do not have a lot of time, I want you to be assisted. Do you have any money on you? Whilst this man was assisting me, he was actually on his phone speaking with that South African couple. So my ritual was quickly rushed over. He then said that he could not take me personally to the river where I was supposed to be bathed, where I was supposed to be washed, so that all the evil bad luck that had been following me can flow with the river. Then said that it was quite sad that he could not take me to the river where some of his clients that were going to receive that seed that they were going to plant, and then they would start to make money. He said, I can't be with you tonight, but you will go with one of my trusted assistants. He is the one who will be assisting you at that river. My brother, we were washed with the water from the river. As we were being washed, standing by the edge of the river, as the water was flowing back into the river, so was the river taking all of our bad luck, leaving us with the good luck that we were born with. He left us, Brother Nashi, and we went to that river. When we went to that river, there were even a couple of women that were there. They also planted their own seeds. But my brother, these women, they knew everything that they were doing. The deal that they did with the devil, they know it. For me at that time, I didn't even know what my sacrifice was. It was only after we had planted the seed and after we had been given some herbs to drink. And these herbs, when we were drinking them, it was to show the river goddesses, the mermaids, that we had agreed to the terms and conditions. And later on in life, if anything bad happens to us, we were not supposed to return back to that traditional healer, telling him that our lives are now messed up. This is what this traditional healer does to you. He will tell you that once you drink this charm, then it means that you cannot come back to my house. I do not want to see you at my house. Even if you go back to your place tomorrow, before you make money, if you start to go crazy, do not come back to my house. With time, that was when I realized that the terms and the condition was that in the first year, I was going to lose my wife. And after that, I was going to lose my mind and I was going to get at least 200,000 US dollars in cash. This money, I was told that it was just going to appear. The money will just appear as soon as my wife would have died. The money will appear in that room that I'll be sleeping in. I then returned back to work in Musina. I worked for a little bit, but there were some herbs that I had been given by that traditional healer's assistant. He told me that I was forbidden to use these herbs when my wife was not on her periods. So I waited until my wife was on her periods. One night when I returned back from work, my wife, she had told me that she was seeing her periods. I told her that, oh, my wife, today I am feeling you. I want to make love to you like I have never made love to you all my life. She refused and she said, please, can you wait? It is only 3 days. After 3 days, then you can do whatever you want to do with my body. But I said, no, my wife, I can't take it anymore. When I was looking at you, when you were busy cooking for me, I really lusted after your body. I can't control it. She then said, what if you get sick? Because there is blood, that is flowing there. We have never done this. I said that there are couples that do this. There is nothing wrong. We'll make love, and after making love to you, I will wash my manhood. Brother Nashi, when she agreed, as she was busy washing her private parts because she had gotten from off the bed as she was squatting on top of this bucket washing her private part, she said, let me try to wash it so that a little bit of blood can be removed. I do not want to make you sick, my husband. So I then started pretending as if I was searching for someone, but I then started pretending as if I was searching for something, but what I was doing, I was actually rubbing those herbs that had been given to me by that traditional healer's assistant. He had told me that on the day that I'll be making love to my wife, what I'll be doing is that I'll be signing her death certificate. This had to be done when she was on her period. After that, my wife, the following month, she got so sick. We then returned back home. I then slept with her. She cried on that night when I made love to her because she was finding it difficult to breathe. Yet I was there on top of her, Brother Nashi, making love to her. She said, "How can you do this thing to me? You know that I am sick. I am struggling to breathe. Yet you are making love to me." But I was not making love to her. I was actually sealing the deal with the devil. I was telling the devil that I am ready for this sacrifice. Then my brothers called me for a meeting and they said that, "Dear brother, we know that your wife is really sick, but we need to be wise because your wife's relatives, our in-laws, they know that she is sick. Your wife is sick, and they know that we are not doing anything about it. If they come here and if they found her to be sick like this, they are going to make us pay. We do not have any money to pay them. Let us be wise. Let us go around. Let us visit some prophets. And when we visit these prophets, maybe we'll find out that maybe there are spirits from our own bloodline that are causing her to be sick like this." Brothers told me that this is what they wanted me to do in that family meeting. I then excused myself and I said, "Let me go back home and bath so that we can go to this prophet." But I was really nervous because I knew that I was the one who was about to get my wife killed. When I was walking towards my compound, I then met a very short man, an evil spirit that I met, a goblin. When I met that evil goblin, Brother Nashi, he then told me that I should not worry because it was going to handle everything. It was going to walk in front of me and it was going to give that prophet, the same prophet that we were going to visit, a false prophecy. What was going to happen was that my brother's wife was the one who was going to be the one who would be accused of witchcraft. This was the false vision that would be inserted into that prophet. I then returned back home, but that small evil spirit said to me, "When you return back home, I want you to go into the bushes. Once you are into the bushes, I want you to poo. Once you have pooped, I do not want you to use a leaf or a toilet paper to wipe off your buttocks. Just leave it like that." So I then rushed into the bushes, Brother Nashi, and I quickly did some poo and I just stood up without looking at the poo that I had done, without wiping my buttocks. I just wore my trousers and I was told that I was not supposed to bath myself. Me and my brothers, we then went to that prophet, and when we went to that prophet was then given a false vision and he accused my brother's wife. He then said that my brother's wife was the one who was about to kill my wife. When we returned back to my compound, we saw that people were already gathered and they were crying, and my brother still blames his own wife. He begged me and he said that, "Please do not expose my wife." But what he doesn't know is that I am the one who did everything. After that, Brother Nashi, as soon as my own wife had been buried, I quickly left the village and I went to the next town, and I then started renting this other room. Whilst I was renting that room, when I woke up the following morning, that was when I saw that there was money that was just everywhere. I used that money to get back into business. I then opened up my small car dealership. This is just a front. I get money from nowhere. I then spoke with my sister and her husband at that time, who was still in South Africa. I told them that I wanted them to be back here in Zim because I had to finish off the rituals. I was just making sure that I'll never lose my mind. This small evil creature told me that since it is the spirit of a man, for me not to get crazy later on in life, for it not to hit me with a disease of mental illness, I had to find a wife for it. Amongst my blood relatives, I chose my own sister. I told my brother-in-law, who was married to my sister, that they needed I told my brother-in-law who was married to my sister, and I said, I want you to return back to Zim so that I can give you some money and you can start your own business. They quickly returned back from South Africa, and I started using my own sister. Brother Nashi, it is quite a painful thing. The things that I am doing with my sister, I am actually sleeping with my sister, because these are the rituals. These are the rituals that I have to follow. When my brother-in-law came here to Zim, I made sure that he breaks up with my sister. My sister was desperate, and she then started staying with me. When she was staying with me, I started inserting some charms in her food. Now we sleep together. She does not understand what is exactly going on. So this is what I have been doing to my own sister since 2016. My sister, she has had 3 miscarriages that she has had, and I feel terrible about it. Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received. It was sent to me by our brother. Then he sent another message, and he said that, so these 3 miscarriages that my sister has had since 2016, she usually have these miscarriages when she is at around 2 to 3.5 months. And my sister will start to have this miscarriage, I'll give her this small bucket that I was instructed to buy by that traditional healer's assistants, and they did some rituals on that bucket. And then I will tell my sister to kneel down and place that small bucket between her legs, as the blood, as that thing that will be developing in her womb will be coming out of her private part, it will fall into that bucket. What I do, Brother Nash, is that I have to grind everything. This is very painful, Brother Nash, because I have to physically grind everything that will come out of my sister's private part, and after that I drive. It doesn't matter if my sister has a miscarriage in the morning, in the evening, or in the middle of the night. I then take that bucket and I drive to that same river where I planted that seed of wealth, and then I go to that place where I planted this seed of wealth. There is a small plant that is growing there. No one can see it. It is only I. And it actually directs me to the place where it is. And when I go there, I then take that small bucket out of my car. Then I'll start to pour all of those contents that would have came out of my sister's private parts at the time when she'll be having a miscarriage at the place where I planted that seed of wealth. These are the crazy rituals that I have been doing. They have made me to have a lot of sleepless nights. It is not an easy thing to sleep with your own blood sister. Strange things do happen in this world.